Have you ever just stopped to think about the sheer mind-boggling variety of life on this planet? I mean, from the coldest mountaintops to the deepest oceans, life is literally everywhere. So let's dive in and explore just how science manages to bring some order to all this beautiful, beautiful chaos. It really is a world that just leaves you speechless, right? The beauty of a galloping horse, the sight of birds migrating for thousands of miles, a valley filled with flowers, or even the raw power of an attacking shark. It all just fills you with this deep sense of awe. And if you want to put a number on it, that's how many species scientists have officially named and described so far. That's 1.8 million. And get this, we're discovering new ones all the time. We've barely scratched the surface. Okay, so that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? With all this incredible diversity, how do you even begin to keep it all straight? A cat in one country might have a totally different local name in another. For scientists trying to work together, that would be absolute chaos. So, how did they solve this problem? So here's our roadmap for today. First, we're going to tackle that naming problem head on. Then, we'll dive into the amazing filing system that brings order to everything. We'll look at the science of how it's all done, and we'll wrap it all up with the big question. Why does any of this even matter? All right, the very first step was getting everyone on the same page. Scientists realized they needed one single agreed-upon name for every organism. That way, a biologist in Brazil and a biologist in Japan could talk about the exact same species without any confusion whatsoever. And the solution they came up with? It's called binomial nomenclature, and it's brilliant. It's a two-name system that was pioneered by the Swedish botanist Carolus Linnaeus, who was apparently just obsessed with organizing the natural world. And honestly, it's the foundation of how we talk about life today. So how does it work? Let's take the mango. Its scientific name is Mangifera indica. The first part, Mangifera, that's the genus. You can think of it like a family's last name. It tells you the mango is related to other plants in that group. The second part, indica, that's the specific epithet. It's like the first name, and it pinpoints the exact species. Indica here just means from India. Put them together, and you've got a unique name for that organism. And to make sure everybody follows the same format, there are a few simple rules. The names are in Latin, and they're written in italics. The genus, that first word, is always capitalized, but the specific epithet is a lowercase. And sometimes you might even see a little abbreviation at the end, like Lin for Linnaeus, the guy who first described it. It's simple, clear, and totally universal. But, a unique name is only half the battle. How do you organize all 1.8 million of those species? Well, think of it like a giant library, or what I like to call a cosmic address for every living thing. It shows you exactly where it fits in the grand scheme of life. Now, the official scientific term for these filing cabinets or categories is taxa. So when we talk about dogs or cats or mammals or even something broad like plants, we're actually using taxa. They're just the convenient groups that let us study life in a really organized way. Okay, to see how this all works, let's try to find the cosmic address for an animal we all know, the lion, Panthera leo. Let's see how the layers build on each other, starting with its closest relatives. So, the lion belongs to the genus Panthera. This is a group of very closely related big cats that, they share a lot of common features. And as you can see, this group also includes the tiger and the leopard. They're all in the Panthera club. Okay, let's zoom out one level to family. The genus Panthera gets grouped into the family Felidae. Now, this family includes not just the big cats, but also the genus Felis, which has our little domestic house cats. They're all part of the bigger cat family. And moving up again, we get to the order. The cat family, Felidae, is placed in the order Carnivora. This is an even broader group that also includes, for example, the dog family, Canidae. See how it works? As you go higher, the shared characteristics get a little more general. And here it is, the whole ladder, the full taxonomic hierarchy. It goes all the way from the most specific level, species, up to the most general, kingdom. And the key thing to remember is this. As you climb that ladder from species to kingdom, the groups get bigger and more diverse, and the number of things they all have in common gets smaller. So, we have this incredible system of names and boxes. But what's the science that actually builds this whole structure? Because it's not just about sorting things based on how they look, it's about understanding their deepest, most ancient connections. The foundation of all this is a science called taxonomy. You can think of taxonomists as biological detectives. They do all the nitty-gritty work of describing an organism's features, figuring out what it is, assigning it to the right groups, and then finally, giving it that official two-part name. But modern biology goes even deeper with a field called systematics. Now, if taxonomy is like sorting books in a library by genre, systematics is like arranging them to show how one author influenced another. It doesn't just ask, what box does this go in? It asks, why, by mapping out the evolutionary family tree of all life. And check this out. This table really shows you the power of the whole system. You can take wildly different things, a human, a housefly, a mango, and a wheat plant, and they all fit perfectly into the same structure. Every single one has a specific cosmic address, from its unique genus all the way up to its kingdom. It is a truly universal framework for understanding all of life. So, after all that, you might be asking yourself, okay, that's cool, but why is this so important? Is it just for scientists? And the answer to that is a huge, definite no. This system has some really profound impacts on all of our lives. Well, for one, the practical uses are just immense. Knowing which plants are related helps us in agriculture to breed better crops. Understanding forest ecosystems helps us manage them sustainably. I mean, from developing new medicines to protecting our planet's resources, this knowledge is absolutely critical for our survival and our well-being. But beyond all the practical stuff, there's a deeper, more philosophical impact here. Understanding that all living things are connected to each other, both today and in the distant past, that was a true revelation. It was humbling, and it helped spark the modern conservation movement. It's a powerful reminder that we are all part of a vast, interconnected web of life. And that brings us right back to where we started, with that sense of wonder. We've built this incredible system for understanding life, but it's a story that's still being written. With millions of species still out there, completely unknown to us, it really leaves you with a final thought. What other amazing relationships and connections are just hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered?